We've been going around the SEC as far as the futility of SEC opponents against Nick Saban-led Alabama teams. And so let's examine this a little more with, first off, another place that that's getting quite soggy is the state of Louisiana, and their coaching situation might as well be soggy with the way that Les Miles' last couple of years were handled, and the new administration, we'll say, of Ed Orgeron. So true or false, Ed Orgeron will look up and manage at least one win against Alabama in his tenure at LSU.
No, he will not. He will not. Right now, Alabama has beat them 6 years in a row, and that will continue. That will continue. I do not see. I'm sorry, LSU. No. They're not going to beat Nick Saban. Coach O. I don't think. And I know everybody's going to go back to that LSU game with last year and go, well, they were only 10 points away. I'm going to say it without saying it, okay? Everybody's heard about, James, you've heard about Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban having some back and forth, right? Some discussions, right? Arguments. No. Nick Saban corrected us. They were not discussions. They were not arguments. What did he call them? Butt chewings. Remember those? Well, there was some that happened out of the spotlight prior to the LSU game that I have been told affected the offensive side of the football. So the LSU game that you reminded in 2016, it won't. That's not typical. There were some things happening with Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin that might have set that up. So anyway, so that's going to be the conversation. No, Coach O will not beat. No, there's no way Coach O is going to take it to Nick Saban. No, and James, here's the question that I've got for you, and I know it's not like I've got a question for you, but I got a question for you. Is Les Miles, if you look at it right now, I guess we could spin this true or false back on you. True or false? Is LSU better right now, coaching-wise, than they were this time last year?
I'll answer that no.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Like if you knew that all you could get was Coach O, think about that for a minute. If it's all you could get was Coach O, and you fired a championship caliber coach, yeah, I know he was sluggish on the offensive side of the football, but you got to remember, Coach O in this league as a head coach was 10-25. Good, man. I mean, what else could improve? I still don't believe it had been LSU. Still do not believe that he can get it done. And I don't care how many Darius Geisses they have. Probably the best back in the SEC. So I'm going to go false. LSU is not going to beat Alabama with Coach O. The streak will continue.
Then if I'm going to follow up on that, then Ed Orgeron will not make it 4 years as head coach at LSU.
No, true. He will not. He will not make it this. And see, I got a real close source that's helped me out with some of the Manning Passing Academy, because you see nobody else report that Jalen Hurts will be there. Well, he's expected to be there. He's on the list. I checked late last night. He is on the list. He's expected to be there. Well, that same guy is plugged in with LSU. And you go back to Coach O. You know one of the reasons why Coach O got that job when Joe Alleva? For one, nobody wanted to come and compete against Nick Saban. So it sort of fell in Coach O's lap there for a couple of minutes. But let's go to the conversation here. Do you know why Coach O got that job at LSU, James? He sold Joe Alleva that Lane Kiffin was coming. Lane Kiffin told LSU that he was leaving. So there's a lot more to this story that we would love to get into, and at some point maybe I will, but I don't have time this morning. Lane Kiffin was going. Coach O sold Joe Alleva that Lane Kiffin was coming to LSU to be his OC. One of the reasons why he got the job. Then when it all fell through because Nicholas Lou Saban got a little involved, just a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and said, Lane, you don't need an offensive coordinator job. You need a head coaching job. Then he went out Friday at the SEC championship game, campaigned for Houston. Don't you remember Nick Saban? Have you ever heard Nick Saban campaign for another coach? Have you ever heard Nick Saban campaign for another head coaching job? I have not. He did it in Atlanta because I was in the room, and I went, what's he doing? He literally went out and endorsed Lane Kiffin and said, oh, this would be a great fit at Houston. This would be a great fit at Houston. And I was like, Nick Saban, are you really saying this? Well, now what I know behind, he was trying to keep him away from LSU. Smart move, Mr. Nick Saban. You're a genius, and we respect you. So there it is. All right, I'm sorry. I hijacked that. But no, he will not make it 4 years. He will not make it 4 years. Not a chance.
Let's go around the SEC then. True or false, Gus Malzahn will be at Auburn in 4 years.
Well, I'm hoping he is. I hope he is. James, I hope he is, man. I'd love to see Gus there for 4 more years. All right. But then I got to put the honest cap on. Man, this is fun. This is fun to think about what you're asking me. I might use some of this for later on this afternoon. I like this. I'm going to say false because I think Auburn defines success by doing what? Beating Alabama. And I don't know. I don't see them. I know they've got Jared Heisman Stidham over there, but I don't see them beating Alabama. And if Alabama gets through them this year, I think that's the knockout punch. I mean, you got to remember, Gene Chizik won a national title. I mean, Lord willing, it was an asterisk national title because they paid Cam Newton, but went out and bought a player because they saw Alabama pulling away. They fired that guy. And one of the reasons why they fired him because he kept losing to Alabama. So, no, I don't think Gus will make it 4 years, but I'm pulling for him. I hope he does. I hope he's there for 4 years because I'd love to see him stay at Auburn.
I got one more true false before we go to break and get into Barrett Jones. The 2013 Kick 6 game will be Gus Malzahn's only victory against Alabama in his coaching career down at Lee County.
True. Yep. And it's the one time. I mean, listen, you guys know where what I feel about Nick Saban. I think he's the best to ever walk the sidelines. But to me, that one moment, Gus outcoached him. He outcoached him in that area. Man, you go back to that game. The last time, there's been 2 teams that have the last, 3 losses against the SEC. So you got Ole Miss 2014, 2015. I mean, think about this. And then the last time prior to that. So you got 3. Those are the 3 losses with Nick Saban. I mean, he has dominated the SEC. But overall, I mean, he's still 5 out of the last 6 against the Auburn Tigers. 7 out of the last 9, if you want to look at it that way. And he's 7-3 overall. So Nick Saban has taken their lunch money, and Auburn fans cannot stand it, but it's not going to stop anytime soon. See, my words are not twisted this morning, but I am having a lot of fun hanging out with James Hardy.